Hey YouTubes, so this episode today, it's going to be the yearly special. I'm going to try and do one of these once a year and roll my sleeves up, of course, and allow myself one good moan of the year. Now, it's not going to be proper moany, you know, because we've all got it hard, but I'm going to have a chat about things that within this industry that grind my gears. You know, I'm not going to be going on about all the weather and social isolation, you know, or all the fact that, you know, every time I come home I've got grass clippings everywhere and my van permanently smells like grass clippings or petrol. You know, we're going to keep it sort of, you know, what we expect it to be. So let's get on with it then, shall we? So I think the first one, and I'll split it into two parts, is people's opinions of self-employed gardeners and people's opinions of self-employed people in general. So yeah, they're the first one. To many people, you know, we're just a gardener, you know, and it's almost, I know we are in a disposable society, and this, don't get me wrong, not everyone's like this. The people I'm mentioning here are the 1%ers. And you might say, well, why are you bothered about the 1%? Well, it's them that stick in your mind. It's them that wind you up. It's them that you hark back to when you're having a bad day. It's them people that, you know, you can do 100 good jobs for people, 100 customer visits, 100 site visits, you know, and you'll have brilliant experience with every single one of them. You know, there'll be no problems at all. And suddenly you'll go to the last one and it'll be some miserable person, and they'll pick and probe and moan and whine, you know, all for the sake of what you can only imagine is their enjoyment, if that makes sense. And it just brings it all crashing right down, and it's frustrating. And this is the thing, it does bring you down, it does upset you, you know, as much as you try. You know, it just wrecks your week. So, like I said, and another thing as well is these people don't know what you've got going on at home. You know, all season, and this is the whole point of this video, the whole, you know, grind my gears, is these situations, this could be what breaks the camel's back. You know, you could be having a gutful at home, a gutful with the weather. You know, you're struggling to keep on top of it, you try and do your best, and I've experienced it, you know, when I had it where, you know, last year with the hernias and, you know, with the operation and stuff, and I was trying to be sort of careful with what work I do, and, you know, I had this real miserable, horrible bugger, and she was, you know, moaning because I went and quoted but I couldn't do what I asked. She wanted me to weed all the garden, and I says, well, you never said this on the telephone, you wanted to tidy up. I asked what the tidy up was and you said lawns and shrubs. So I got here and you don't want the lawns and shrubs doing. And the answer is for people like that, don't even, just say, I'm ever so sorry, I can't help you, and walk away. But it winds you up because you think to yourself, you know, I'm just trying to earn an honest living, and that's what we're doing. We're not trying to rip people off. We're not trying to sort of get ahead by, you know, scamming people or overcharging them. We're just trying to earn a bloody living. So, like I said, it does frustrate me. So yeah, people's opinions of gardeners, we're in a disposable society, and the fact is people can chop and change us at a heartbeat, a moment's notice. I had it when I first started. I did a season for somebody, another season, and then towards the end of the season she come out and said, don't need you anymore. Paid me. So I said, oh, is there a problem? Yeah, you're just too slow, we found somebody quicker and cheaper. I'm on, okay then. You know, it's just how it is. And it's, like I said, I don't think that we I think sometimes that people shit on us and treat us like shit because we're just a gardener, but we aren't. It's the whole sort of fact that it's just that the people who treat a gardener like shit will treat a plumber like shit. I've spoke to plumbers, builders, electricians, and they all said the exact same stories where they've got nightmare customers, people who won't leave them alone, people who stand and watch them do everything, you know. And it's just industry wide, unfortunately. And you know, the easiest thing in the world is to pick fault. The easiest thing you can do. You can go to any place that says they're the best of everything, and you can go and you can pick fault at it. It all depends on you as a person. And I honestly think these people that do complain, they've got nothing better to do. And part of me thinks that this is what keeps them going. This is their enjoyment. It is. One of my friends, somebody that she knows, and I've experienced it when I worked in the holiday industry, there's people who go away just to complain. I never believed it, and you know, my friend said to me that she knows somebody, and whenever she goes away, she always comes back and says, oh, it was a good stay, but you know, I managed to get £400 back off them because I complained about this and this. And that's her mission in life, and I think it's pathetic. Yes, if there's a problem, yeah, go for it. But if there isn't a problem, well, why do it? Why fuck someone's day up? I experienced it where we had a group of people. They got let into the cabin early, probably by about 3:30, and it should have been at 4, but we let them in at 3:30. By 4:10, my boss had received an email with over like 50 pictures attached to like a file of all the things that were wrong. And these ladies, they knew what they were doing. They were there to complain, and they come with the intention of complaining, and they picked up on everything. Now, I've said this before, that place wasn't perfect, but these people went, in a way, they missed out the things that were imperfect and actually focused on stuff that wasn't too bad. I just think it's a bit sad, if I'm being honest with you. So the next one is, I can guarantee you've all experienced this, is people's impressions of people who are self-employed. Doesn't matter what they do, whether they're self-employed or they're a business owner. I honestly think people think that they're all on the same level. So me, SGM-garden maintenance, one-man band, still living at home, you know, fairly comfortable to a degree, got my own van and tools. I'm on the same level as a shop on the high street, or a builder, or a plumber. Again, it's not the majority, it's the minority. But you know, when they make the little comments or the little quips, you know, the most common one for me, and this winds me up, is, if I give you cash, would you do it cheaper? No. It's like, oh well, you can knock the VAT off. I'm not VAT registered. Oh yeah, well, it's in your pocket now, isn't it? I'm like, no, it's all got to go through the bank. You know, you feel like saying to them, well, why would I do it for less? You know, that is the price, and it just frustrates me to high end. It really does. I think, and as I said, I'm going to do this once a year because this is my opinion, and it might ruffle a few feathers. I don't know whether it's a British thing. I've seen it. So I listen to a lot of podcasts, and I listen to podcasts from England, but also podcasts from the States. And over there, and I've heard this on English podcasts from other people, where they say that in the US, now I'm not going to go on to America because I suppose it's got its own problems really, but from what I see, it looks a fantastic place. I'd love to visit. But the mindset over there, that if somebody's got a flash car or they've got a big house, it's almost like no one really cares. It's almost like, oh, well done, oh mate, cool car, oh nice house. Over here, it's almost like and I used to think like this, and I've, you know when you have that realization, and I think it's through upbringing, but I used to be honest with you, I used to look at people in wealthy cars or flash cars, not Range Rovers, because I think it's all immaterial now. You know, anybody, I could go out and get a finance on a Range Rover if I wanted to. You know, it's all kippers and curtains. But I'm on about when you see people in like Aston Martins or Lambos, and you know, they look, they don't just look like they've financed it, but they look well off, and you can tell. I used to think, prick, you know, what's he done to earn that? You know, is he a drug dealer? You know, real sort of negative slants. And like I said, I'm not afraid to admit it, I think that was through upbringing. But now I look at it and think, oh nice guy, I wonder what he's done to do that, you know. I want to know his story. Has he worked himself up? You know, was he a criminal? You know, but has he worked himself up? I like to think, you know, he started from nothing and he's worked his way up to, you know, through hard work. And that's the part that interests me when I look at people with cars, not jumping straight to the conclusion that they're a wanker. But I think a lot of people think that. If you say to, you know, average Joe blogs, someone turns up in a flash car, you're probably going to be a fucking wanker. Show off. And I think that applies to business owners, where people look at us self-employed people, and it's not that they think we're criminals or anything like that, or wankers, but it's the fact that I think sometimes it's they must be well off. They've got to be well off. You know, they don't pay tax, or you know, they can pay what they want in tax, or you know, it's like we're getting one over on the system. It is, and I've had it before where I've had people with that impression. They've never said it, but I know when I've said to it, when it's come up in like that I have to pay my pension, it surprises him. It's like, oh, pension. It is, no. So the next one, like I said, that's just my opinion. I could be talking out my arse, and I probably am. I don't try to. I try not to stereotype it as well, if I'm being honest with you. But you do see the parallels, and you do see the whole sort of different sort of opinions of people, you know, and you can't help but think, you know, are they sort of, you know, or is it there an expectation, you know, that, you know, we're automatically wealthy because we're self-employed, you know. Like I said, I think the next one is, and it's more of a me one, but I can imagine other people have a similar sort of feeling to this, is it's not necessarily friends and family, but it's friends of friends and family, you know, where they'll reach out and expect something for nothing. Well, it's like, or you know, I've had it before where, you know, relatives or friends have passed my details on and said, oh yeah, my brother or me, you know, my mate, or you know, whatever, my cousin, he's a gardener. And I've been before, and it's like, you go and you give them the price, and it's like, oh, is that with a discount? I'm like, no, that's the price. Yeah, but is that the full price, or if you give us a discount because I'm friends and family? And I've had this a few times. The first time I gave him a price, and he looked a bit sort of put out by it, but he did accept it, and he did pay it. And I was speaking to the person who recommended. I said, did you give a hint, or you know, say to him he'll give you a discount or what? He says no. He says just ask for a gardener. So I gave him one. I says that, you know, that you're good and that you charge a fair price. So maybe it's that bit, but like I said, it just really winds me up. And I've had it again with somebody else where they did that, and then they said, oh, he says, you know, I thought you'd have done it cheaper because I know your brother. And I'm thinking, what fucking planet are you on? It is, for me, friends and family, I'll either do it for nothing or I'll charge them full price. There is no middle ground. So if I power wash my brother's patio for him once a year, I'll charge him the price for fuel. That's all I'll charge him, then I'm not out of pocket. I don't like, I say this to friends and family, if they want anything doing, I'd rather not charge them, because it's just, I don't, as I say, I think when you mix friend money and stuff, it's just not thingy. It isn't. But it's the whole sort of other people expect you to do it for nothing, you know, just because they know somebody. What, fuck that. Like I said, that is one of my sort of, you know, annoyances. And by extension is neighbours. The amount of times neighbours put their head over and they'll say, oh, why you got your stuff out? As soon as they say that, my eyes are in the back of my head going, what is this bloke going to say? And what it is why you got your stuff out, you're automatically going to be cheaper because you don't have to unload anything. Now don't get me wrong, I don't mind doing a little bit to reflect that. But the truthful answer is, you know, you've got to charge a similar price. If you say, you know, when I do a hedge for a customer, if a customer has a tops done, I'll do his side and the top of the hedge over to the neighbours, depending on how thick the edge is. If it's a huge edge and I have to go the other side, then, you know, it's different. But by often, if a customer asks for a hedge cut, I'll ask if he wants the tops doing. Pretty much often they'll say yeah. If it's not his hedge, they'll say no, because, you know, it's the customer's, you know, it's the other side to do that. But, you know, if a customer says to me, the customer's name says, oh, could you do, you know, my side, you know, but would you do it cheaper because you're already here? Well, why would I? It's unfair. I've charged him, you know, X amount. Yes, I'm already here. I don't mind doing a little bit of a discount, you know. I almost sort of just do it a bit cheekily, say, yeah, go on, I'll knock your tenner off, 20 quid, whatever. But, you know, I'm not doing it for pence because I'm already here. It is, like I said, the one thing, and this is subjective, mainly I've been moaning about people here, is when I give a price, every so often, if I'm feeling generous, you know, and I'm already there, I'll do them a favour, and I'll give them a good price, like a ridiculous price. So I've done it before with like gutters. I remember once I had all the stuff set up, and this woman come out. She had a face like vinegar. That's the only way I can describe it. And she says to me, she says, "Oh, would you? How much to just sweep out that back run of gutters because it's overflowing?" Now this thing was two stories on like an Indian stone patio, and I said, and I'll be honest with you, I must have been having a good day, because I said, look, because I'm already here, I'll charge 15 quid. And all I had to do was literally, I could reach it from my side of the fence on the customer's side, and I could just scoop over. So in reality, it's only 5 minutes work. Now, maybe she knew that, and maybe she's thinking, fuck me, 5 minutes it's going to take him, he wants 15 quid. He must think I'm an idiot. Maybe that's what, maybe she knows that, and she knows that I know it's going to be a super quick job. But in reality, it's how little. Do you just say, yeah, go on, it's a fiver? What happens if the clip breaks? Or what happens if, you know, something happens? Well, you know, realistically, it should be full price. And she just looked at me, dead put out, and goes, oh, I'll get my husband to do it. And then just walked off. And I'm thinking, so you're going to get your husband to go out, he's got to get his ladder out of the shed, and he only had a small shed, so wherever a 2-stage ladder is, I do not know. And then he's got to climb up on Indian stone, so presumably you've got to foot the ladder. That's if you don't want him to die. And then you've got to send him up there. You've got to wait outside while he goes all the way across to scoop it out. Because like I say, it's a decent sort of run, like 4 or 5 clips. And then after that, you know, you've got to get rid of a bucket of waste. And it's stuff like that that just, when you do him a real solid favour and a really good price, it's like that when they look at you like that and you think, fucking hell, you know. And every time I've done it before with like grass cuts and stuff, where, you know, I did it once where I did a one-off job, and I said to the lady, I said, oh, she says, would you be able to come and cut my grass? I said, well, yeah, I could do it as a one-off, but I said, I can't do it on a regular basis because, you know, I live miles away, basically. And she's like, oh, okay, no problem. Yeah, so I just need it cutting down. And like I said, it was a small lawn, I had all my stuff there. It's a case of just pushing it round, simple job. And I said, oh yeah, no problem, I can do it for, you know, 15, 20 quid. And it was a good, realistically, you'd be looking at 30, 35, whatever. And they just look at you like you're an idiot. And I just think, you know, maybe the industry standard for there is a lot cheaper. I don't know. The next one is when customers want a price but don't want to tell you the work, but then they still want the price. So people will walk up to you must get this 3 or 4 times a year. Have you got a price list? I said, oh, no I don't. What do you mean? Like a list with all your prices for all your different services. I said, oh no, I said I don't work like that. I said, where do you live? I said, oh, just down the road. I said, do you want me to come and price it up for you, what you need? Oh no, I'm thinking for the future. Okay. Or when people walk up and it's, oh, I've got a shrub about this big, about this wide. How much to cut it? And it's like, how the fuck would I know? And it's lawns. Lawns are the best one. How much to cut my lawn? It's about, oh, and you see them pacing it out, and it makes no sense. And they're like, oh, how much for this? You know, and it's like, yeah, you can give a standardised, but what happens if, you know, the lawn's up 2 sets of stairs? What happens if that shrub is on gravel? You know, and it's like, you know, a privet edge, so it's, you know, you have loads of little. What happens if you're really fussy and I've got to spend extra time doing it? Like I said, for me though, I always try, and probably sounded a bit standoffish here, you can't be like that to customers. Even the people that come and throw their arms out at you and say, I've got a hedge this big, what price can it be? And like I said, they almost want a price there and then. It's like as if they don't want to leave without the price. And you're like, well, that means absolutely nothing. But like I said, you've got to be as professional, as upfront, you know, as professional, calm to an extent. You know, you've got to be as professional as you can with people like this. You can't be sort of rude and horrible to them. You've got to do your best to be the best person you can. I think videos like this, they help because it reminds you, you know, that there is other people who have situations like yourself, problems like yourself. I'm sure all of these ones that I've said, every single person gets this at least 2 or 3 times a year. Like I said at the start, we all have, you know, we all struggle with the social isolation. It is an isolating job. You know, the thing is, people think they know what it takes. So, you know, you can go home and say, you know, it's like sometimes you can't just go home and talk to people about, you know, your day at work, because it's like as if they don't understand it. It's like, you know, it's like I've had it with late payers where they'll say, you know, you'll go home and you'll say, oh, I've got this customer with late pays. Oh, just get rid of them. Just tell them you want the money there and then, you know. Threaten to dump the clippings there, you know, stuff like that. It's like, this just doesn't work. It's stuff like that just makes it worse. I suppose as well, I've not even said about late payers. I've been lucky in the extent that the late payers that I've had have only been for shitty amounts. 20 quid, 25 pounds, 50, you know what I mean, little stupid amounts. But at the same time, that winds me up even more, because it's little stupid amounts and it just frustrates me, it really does. I've been lucky as well that the commercial customers I've got, they work, you know, I've got one that's fantastic. You'll send the invoice through and it'll be paid within the day. The only time it's late paid is if the bloke's on holiday, and I'll get a text message, you know, pretty much guaranteed, you know, texting me saying, look, I've been on holiday for a week, ever so sorry, it'll be paid this afternoon. You know, like I said, I have been lucky with my commercial work. I've not got many, you know, I've not had many people that have just not paid. You know, quite often it's, you know, they pay, there's no problem. It's always the, like I said, it's always the little shitty amounts, the stupid 20 quid here, 25 pounds. It's always those amounts that late pay or drag the feet. You know, in my business, I think for the years I've been in business, I am owed 25, I think I'm owed about £55 off people that just don't want to pay. One of them is a lady that she just didn't want to pay. Basically, she had me do it, and then she never paid. And message, text, everything, you know, just didn't want to pay. And it's like, what do you do in that situation, you know? Do you send a letter? You know, I'll be honest with you, that time I thought it's just more trouble than it's worth. You know, I don't want to get into it with someone like that, so I just let it slide. My fault. Then I had another lady where she owed me for 2 visits. So she wouldn't pay for the 2. I'd go do the 3rd visit. She'd always make up some, the bank's problems, all this, the bank. And then she'd pay 2 visits, but she'd still be owing for that visit, and it'd go on like that. And then it got where, I don't know whether she was ignoring me, avoiding me, but she owed for 2 visits. I went round to do the work on the 3rd visit, knocked on, she wasn't there. I thought, well, I'm not doing any more. And again, this was a £25 visit, so she owed me 50 quid. And I thought, you know what, knocked on, she wasn't there. Car was there, she wasn't there. I thought, right, I'll come back next week. Again, wasn't there. I went back the 3rd time, she wasn't there. I thought, fuck it, just left it. Texted saying, hi, you know, I want to keep gardening for you, but you owe me for the last 2 visits. I've been past to you now 3 occasions, you've not been in. Can you let me know if you want the visits to carry on, continue, you know, and let me know if, you know, pay me basically. Nothing. Just had nothing offer at all. And then in the end, I just thought, you know, that's it. What do you do? You know, do you chase somebody for that? I think you shouldn't make excuses for people, but I think with this lady, there was a lot involved, like you're a single parent, big bills, you know, it was coming towards you. I don't know. I'm making excuses for somebody I shouldn't be making excuses for at the end of the day. So in the end, I don't know why she did it, but she texted me and just said, thank you for all the work, I don't need you anymore, basically. And I thought, right, you're fucking having it now. You've got me. Because she texted off the same number. As soon as that text come through, I rung her straight back. And she was, hello? And I said, hi. I said, Sam the gardener. I said, I've just received your message. I said, I'm sorry you don't need me anymore, but you've still got 2 outstanding invoices that you've not paid. Please, can you pay them? And she's like, oh, and, you know, all that sort of, you know, umming and ahhing and all that sort of bollocks. And she did pay it, but she only paid 1 of them. So that's why I'm owed 55 quid for nearly 5 years of work in total. Is that good? Should it happen in the first place? No, it shouldn't. I could do the whole thing, you know. I go to the hairdressers, the barber, he cuts my hair, I give him the money there and then. I go Tesco, give him the money there and then. Why should people, you know, it just winds me up, but what can you do? Have a good day, guys. Keep on gardening.